The secret science of vibration. What if I told you that your vibration determines the quality of your love, your health, and even your bank account? That may sound bold, but it's exactly what science and great masters have already shown. And before we delve any deeper, I need to remind you of something important. Only those who believe they deserve to prosper follow this channel now. If you're one of them, subscribe now, because this content isn't for everyone. Nikola Tesla, one of history's greatest geniuses, once said, "If you want to understand the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration." This phrase isn't cheap philosophy, it's pure science. Every thought, every emotion, and every choice emits signals that shape the reality around you. Your vibrational field is like a radio station. Tuned to fear, you attract more fearful situations. Tuned to confidence and abundance, you attract health, true relationships, and financial opportunities. This is why some people seem to have a life in flux, where everything happens naturally, while others struggle endlessly and remain stuck with the same problems. The difference lies in the frequency each of them sustains. Your vibration is the filter that defines the quality of what enters and leaves your life. And here's a powerful truth: only people who thrive, who have the courage to change and succeed, stick it out until the end of this video. If you stick around, you'll prove not only to me, but to yourself, that you already have within you what it takes to transform your reality. Now, get ready, because what you're about to learn next could be the turning point you've been missing in your journey. Chapter 1: The Power of Inner Alignment. Have you ever noticed how some people seem to have a magnetic energy? It's as if life always conspires in their favor. They find good partners, have stable health, prosper financially. And then the question arises, what's the secret? The answer lies in something invisible, but completely real: vibration. Science shows that every emotion alters the body's chemistry, and this chemistry creates an energy field around us. This field works like a radio signal. If it's misaligned, it transmits noise and confusion. But when body, mind, and emotions work together, the frequency becomes clear. And the world responds to this clarity. Nikola Tesla once said, "If you want to understand the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration." This phrase sums up what we're exploring here. The human body is like a living transmitter. Our repetitive thoughts, our dominant feelings, and even small daily habits send invisible messages outward. These messages shape what we attract, whether in relationships, health, or money. When you vibrate in scarcity, you attract situations that confirm that lack. When you learn to vibrate in abundance, you open space for new possibilities. Let's look at a true story. Sarah, from Austin, Texas, worked in marketing and was constantly exhausted. She slept little, ate poorly, and carried constant anxiety. Her body screamed stress, and her career seemed stagnant. One day, she decided to change something simple. When she woke up, instead of picking up her phone, she did 5 minutes of deep breathing. She started walking before work, letting her body feel the morning air. Small but consistent adjustments. Within 3 months, she not only felt lighter, but also received an unexpected promotion. She said, "When I changed my energy, everything started to flow." Another case is Mark, from Denver. He believed he was unlucky in love. He repeated cycles of arguments, distrust, and breakups. While studying emotional frequency, he realized he carried fear and resentment in all his relationships. He decided to adopt a ritual, writing letters of forgiveness, even without sending them. He also practiced gratitude for small interactions throughout the day. Gradually, his vibration changed. Less than a year later, he met someone with whom he built a healthy relationship based on trust. He sums it up: "What changed wasn't the world, it was me." And then there's Maria, from Chicago. For years, she lived suffocating in debt. Every bill brought dread, and this fear reinforced her belief that she would never have enough. The turning point came when she decided to change her perspective on money. She began to be grateful for the amounts she received, even small ones. Instead of complaining, she celebrated small financial victories. This new state of mind led to opportunities arising: an extra income here, a new client there. Today, Maria has not only paid off her debts but also started her own business. She describes, "My bank balance didn't change first. What changed was the frequency I chose to live." These stories prove that aligning body, mind, and emotions isn't just a distant theory. It's practical. It's like tuning a radio station. The music has always been there, but only when you turn the right knob does the sound become clear. When your internal frequency shifts, your external life changes too. And now the big question remains, how can you apply this practically? In the next chapter, we'll explore the scientific explanation of how thoughts and emotions create real frequencies and how to use them to transform your health, relationships, and finances. Chapter 2, The Science of Vibration. Have you ever noticed how certain situations seem to repeat themselves, even when you try to change? Relationships that end the same way, recurring financial difficulties, health problems that return. This doesn't happen by chance. Science shows that everything in the universe vibrates at a certain frequency. From atoms to emotions, everything is in motion. Nothing is completely solid, not even us. The human body is a living energy field, constantly interacting with its environment. Every thought, emotion, and action emits signals. These signals act as an invisible code that attracts or repels experiences. Think of the body as a transmitter. Emotions like fear and anger release adrenaline and cortisol, stress hormones. Love and gratitude release dopamine and oxytocin, substances linked to well-being. This chemical state alters your energy field, and the world responds to it. That's why being around someone positive inspires us, while being around negative people can drain us. Nikola Tesla claimed that energy and frequency were the key to understanding the universe. Today, neuroscience and epigenetics confirm this. Bruce Lipton demonstrated that cells respond more to the chemical environment created by our thoughts than to inherited DNA. If you live under stress, your cells adapt to this pattern. But if you cultivate heightened emotions, you create conditions for balance and regeneration. Mark, from Denver, is proof of this. Before changing emotional habits, he lived in cycles of jealousy and distrust. This chemical state produced turbulent relationships. When he adopted practices of gratitude and forgiveness, his body began to release substances linked to trust and well-being. The result? He attracted a healthy relationship. Sarah, from Austin, also transformed her frequency. Previously, she lived on autopilot, constantly anxious. By incorporating 5 minutes of mindful breathing and morning walks, she reduced stress and increased mental clarity. Studies show that balanced breathing regulates the nervous system and brings the brain and heart into coherence. This state creates vibrational stability. And Maria, from Chicago, illustrates the relationship between vibrancy and prosperity. Trapped in debt, she lived in fear and stagnation. When she decided to be grateful for even the small amounts she received, her attitude changed. This new state led her to identify opportunities that had previously gone unnoticed. Shortly thereafter, she paid off her debts and started her own business. Science also explains brain waves. Negative emotions trigger fast beta waves, linked to tension. Elevated emotions stimulate alpha and theta waves, associated with creativity and intuition. In this state, it's easier to find solutions, generate ideas, and attract meaningful connections. The point is clear, it's not enough to desire change. You need to change the frequency you sustain daily. The best part is that this can be trained. It's not about luck, but practice. And here comes the big question: how can we practically use this science to transform relationships, health, and money? In the next chapter, we'll explore how your emotional choices shape your relationships and why you attract repeat stories in love. Chapter 3, Vibration and Relationships. Have you ever wondered why you so often attract the same type of person? It's almost like déjà vu. You change relationships, but history repeats itself. Similar fights, similar frustrations, endings that seem like carbon copies of each other. The answer lies not only in conscious choices, but in the vibration you maintain. Relationships aren't built solely on words or actions, they are born from the invisible energy you transmit every day. Science shows that human beings have electromagnetic fields that influence each other. The heart, for example, emits a field detectable from several meters away. This means that, even before you speak, you are already communicating who you are energetically. When you vibrate with insecurity, you attract people who reinforce this pattern. When you vibrate with trust and openness, you create more balanced connections. Mark, from Denver, is a living example of this. For years, he believed he was destined to live in relationships filled with distrust. What he didn't realize was that he carried a vibrational field imbued with the fear of abandonment. This led him to seek partners who confirmed this fear. When he began practicing forgiveness and gratitude, his body chemistry changed, less cortisol, more oxytocin. This new vibration made him attract someone who was on the same level of openness. The result? A relationship based on trust, not fear. And it's not just romantic love. Sarah, from Austin, after she began aligning her energy with simple practices, noticed changes in her work relationships. Previously, she was constantly at odds with colleagues, constantly feeling pressured. When she adopted breathing and walking routines, she found greater inner balance. This balance was noticed by others. Within a few weeks, conflicts diminished, and her leadership began to be recognized. People began seeking her out of trust, not obligation. Even Maria, from Chicago, realized how her relationship with money was tied to how she related to people. When she lived in fear and tension, she pushed away opportunities. But when she began to be grateful for even the smallest amounts, this new vibrational field not only attracted clients and business partners but also brought her closer to people who believed in her potential. She herself said, "When I started feeling prosperous, I met prosperous people." Neuroscience explains it simply: the human brain seeks to confirm patterns. If you vibrate with fear, you perceive more fearful situations. If you vibrate with trust, you see more opportunities for trust. And since our relationships are reflections of what we carry inside, the frequency we emit acts like a magnet. The big shift is understanding that no one needs to hunt for the right partner, the right friend, or the right associate. It's your vibrational field that determines who approaches and who moves away. Change your vibration, and the circle of people around you will naturally change. And here's the question: how can we sustain this new frequency without falling back into old emotional patterns? In the next chapter, we'll explore how vibration also governs your health, showing why repetitive emotions may be harming your body. Chapter 4: Vibration and Health. Have you ever stopped to think about how negative emotions can literally make your body sick? It's no exaggeration. Studies show that living in constant stress activates survival mode, releasing excessive hormones like cortisol and adrenaline. This increases inflammation, unbalances the immune system, and even accelerates aging. Now imagine sustaining this state for years. It's like driving a car with your foot on the accelerator all the time. Eventually, the engine breaks down. On the other hand, elevated emotions such as joy, gratitude, and love produce substances that promote regeneration, hormonal balance, and well-being. Dopamine, for example, increases the feeling of reward, oxytocin strengthens social bonds and trust, serotonin stabilizes mood. These substances are like natural remedies, produced within you, always available when your internal vibration is aligned. Sarah, from Austin, is a practical example. Before changing her habits, she was tired, anxious, and had frequent headaches. Doctors couldn't find a clear physical cause. The problem lay in accumulated stress. When she decided to implement 5 minutes of mindful breathing and daily walks, her body began to react differently. Within a few weeks, she reported less pain, more energy, and even a significant improvement in her sleep. The secret wasn't new medications, but in changing her emotional frequency. Mark, from Denver, also felt the difference in his body from the vibrational shift. Previously, constant arguments and relationships left him exhausted, with palpitations and muscle tension. When he began working on forgiveness and gratitude, it wasn't just his emotional heart that relaxed, but his physical heart as well. His blood pressure stabilized, and his anxiety episodes decreased. Science explains, positive emotions activate the parasympathetic nervous system, responsible for states of rest and recovery. And Maria, from Chicago, experienced firsthand how the vibration linked to fear of money harmed her health. She reported constant stomach pains and digestive problems. When she shifted her relationship with money, shifting from scarcity to gratitude, not only did her financial life begin to prosper, but her body also showed signs of recovery. She herself said, "When I let go of fear, even my stomach healed." Physics and biology show that the human body responds to the vibrational field you sustain. Repeated emotions are like programs that teach cells to behave in a certain way. If the program is fear and anger, the body collapses. If the program is trust and joy, the body finds balance. Health, therefore, is not just the absence of disease, but a reflection of the energy you carry daily. Your body is the first mirror of your vibration. And the big question now is, if vibration even influences your physical health, how does it directly affect your finances? In the next chapter, you'll discover why the energy you transmit can be the key to escaping scarcity and entering abundance. Chapter 5, Vibration and Finance. Have you ever noticed how some people seem to have a gift for attracting money, while others live in a constant struggle to survive? It's not just about effort or intelligence. Often, the difference lies in the frequency each person sustains. Money, like relationships and health, responds to the vibrational state you transmit. If your energy is one of fear, scarcity, and worry, you end up blocking opportunities. But if your energy is one of trust, gratitude, and a vision of abundance, doors open in ways you never imagined. Maria, from Chicago, is living proof of this. For years, she believed she would never have enough. Every time a bill arrived, she reacted with panic. This vibrational reaction kept her trapped in a cycle of scarcity. Until she decided to shift her focus. Instead of complaining, she began to be grateful for the small amounts that came in. She created a habit. Every time she received money, no matter how little, she would stop for a minute and say thank you. This small gesture changed her outlook on life. Shortly thereafter, an opportunity for extra income arose. New clients soon followed. Today, she has not only paid off debt but also started her own business. She summed it up, my bank balance didn't change first, my frequency changed. And it's not just Maria. Sarah, from Austin, also saw a financial impact when she shifted her vibration. By realigning her body and mind with simple practices like breathing and walking, she gained the clarity and energy to excel at work. Before, she was constantly tired, missed deadlines, and felt worthless. After the vibrational shift, not only did her health improve, but she also received a promotion. Her boss would say, "You seem like a different person." This is the reflection of someone who has learned to emit confidence rather than anxiety. Mark, from Denver, had a similar journey, but in a different way. His unstable relationships also affected his financial life. He wasted energy on arguments and insecurities, which left him unproductive. When he worked on forgiveness and gratitude, he not only attracted a healthy relationship but also began to thrive professionally. He himself reported, "When I took the weight off my emotions, my work flowed, and the money flowed with me again." Neuroscience explains this relationship. In a state of fear, the brain releases substances that narrow your perception. This means you see fewer opportunities. But when you're confident, dopamine and serotonin broaden your vision, allowing you to perceive previously invisible solutions. This is why, in states of positive vibration, creative ideas emerge and financial paths appear naturally. Money isn't just a piece of paper or a number on your account. It's an energy that responds to the field you emit. If you treat it like an enemy, it moves away. If you treat it like an ally, it moves around. This change doesn't depend on how much you already have, but on how you connect with what you have today. And here an important question arises: if vibration can transform your relationship with money, what happens when you get stuck in the same emotional patterns day in and day out? In the next chapter, we'll reveal the dangers of emotional repetition and how it could be silently sabotaging your life. Chapter 6, The Danger of Emotional Repetition. Have you ever felt like you're stuck in an endless cycle? You wake up, live practically the same day, with the same worries, the same thoughts, and the same emotions. And when you look back, you realize that little has changed. This is no coincidence, it's the result of emotional repetition. When you wake up every day reliving the same fears, the same frustrations, and the same memories, you're programming your body and mind to keep creating more of the same. Science has proven that about 95% of our daily thoughts are repetitive. This means that if you don't consciously change the way you feel and think, you'll continue vibrating at the same frequency. And this frequency determines your relationships, your health, and your finances. Emotions of fear, anger, and guilt are like repeated tracks on a record. They make you relive old stories, even in different settings. Consider the case of Mark from Denver. For years, he had been involved in turbulent relationships. Even when he changed partners, the fights and distrust repeated themselves. It was as if he were stuck in a pre-written script. The problem wasn't with other people, but with the emotional vibration he carried within. When he decided to practice forgiveness and gratitude daily, he broke this pattern. His body stopped expecting betrayal and began vibrating with trust. And, for the first time, he attracted someone willing to build a healthy relationship. Sarah, from Austin, also experienced the burden of emotional repetition. Chronic stress was part of her routine. Every morning, she relived the same fears, deadlines, emails, demands. This chemical repetition kept her body stuck in survival mode. Until, by introducing conscious breathing and walking, she broke the cycle. Her body learned a new emotional response: calm and clarity. This shift not only improved her health but also opened up new opportunities at work. Maria, from Chicago, kept repeating the pattern of scarcity. Each bill that arrived reinforced the belief that she would never have enough. This cycle of fear kept her vibrating in contraction, attracting even more hardships. The turning point came when she decided to change her dominant emotion. By giving thanks for even the smallest amounts, she created a new emotional pathway. Gradually, opportunities arose, and the cycle of scarcity was replaced by one of prosperity. The big problem with emotional repetition is that it creates a kind of chemical addiction. Your body gets used to certain emotions, even negative ones, and begins to crave them unconsciously. This is why some people, even when they want to change, end up sabotaging themselves. They don't realize they're stuck in a vibrational identity. The good news is that any pattern can be broken. But it requires awareness. You need to observe which emotions have been dominating your days and decide to break the cycle. By exchanging repetition for new emotional states, you open doors to higher frequencies. And here lies the essential question: if emotional repetition can trap us in a limited reality, how can we, in practice, create new vibrational habits and sustain high energy every day? That's exactly what we'll discuss in the next chapter, exploring stories and tools for change from the inside out. Chapter 7: The Importance of Coherence. Have you ever noticed how exhausting it is when your mind wants one thing, your heart feels another, and your body does something completely different? This imbalance is the opposite of coherence. And living without coherence is like driving a car with misaligned wheels. You might keep moving forward, but you'll expend much more energy and, in the end, you'll arrive exhausted. Coherence means aligning thought, emotion, and action in a single direction. When this happens, your vibration becomes clear, stable, and powerful. Science calls this state psychophysiological coherence. The heart and brain come into harmony, brain waves become more balanced, and the entire body responds more efficiently. The electromagnetic field emitted by the heart, which is already dozens of times stronger than that of the brain, stabilizes. It is at this moment that you become a true transmitter of clean energy, capable of attracting opportunities, people, and solutions more easily. Sarah, from Austin, found this alignment when she stopped sabotaging herself. Before, she thought she wanted success, but felt anxious and acted disorganized. It was a vibrational contradiction. When she began aligning intention with daily practice, breathing before starting work, calmly planning tasks, and maintaining gratitude for what she already had, her internal field shifted. It didn't take long for her energy to be noticed by colleagues and leaders, who began to trust her more. This alignment paved the way for the promotion that had seemed far away. Mark, from Denver, faced another dilemma. He claimed to want true love, but he harbored emotions of distrust and acted defensively. His words and feelings didn't match. The result was predictable: broken relationships. As he practiced forgiveness and cultivated gratitude, his heart began to align with the desire for trust. His actions reflected this new state. For the first time, his words, emotions, and actions were on the same wavelength. And that's when he attracted the partner who changed his life. Maria, from Chicago, also discovered the power of consistency when it came to money. For years, she repeated positive affirmations like "I am prosperous," but felt fear every time she saw a bill. Her mind said abundance, but her body vibrated scarcity. When she decided to align feelings and actions, being grateful for the little she had and acting with financial discipline, her vibration stabilized. It was this consistency that attracted new opportunities, allowing her to pay off debt and start her own business. This is the secret: repeating positive phrases isn't enough. If the body doesn't feel them and actions don't confirm them, the energy field won't adjust. Coherence is like a symphony, each instrument must play the same melody. When mind, heart, and body align, the result is harmony, and this harmony is irresistible to the universe. And here arises the next question: if coherence is the key to transforming thoughts into reality, how can we practice it in our daily lives simply and effectively? In the next chapter, you'll learn the first practical exercise to change your frequency in just a few minutes. Chapter 8: Breathing and Recalibration. Have you ever noticed how your breathing changes when you're stressed? It becomes short, rapid, almost shallow. This pattern isn't just a reflection of how you feel, it further fuels your anxiety, like a never-ending cycle. Now, imagine if you could, in just a few minutes, break this cycle and recalibrate your vibration. That's what the first practical exercise will teach you. Science shows that the heart and brain are in constant communication. When breathing is dysregulated, this communication conflicts, creating an unstable vibrational field. But when you breathe consciously and deeply, you induce coherence between heart and mind. This changes your internal chemistry, reduces cortisol, increases dopamine, and creates a state of immediate calm. This is the simplest shortcut to instantly raise your vibration. Sarah, from Austin, used this exact practice when she began her transformation. Before, she would wake up and go straight to her phone, entering stress mode. Today, she sets aside just 5 minutes for deep breathing. Inhale for a count of 4, hold for 2, and exhale for a count of 6. This simple pattern has changed the way she starts her day. She herself said, "It feels like I've traded inner chaos for clarity." Mark, from Denver, adopted this practice whenever he felt the weight of past arguments. Instead of reacting impulsively, he would stop, close his eyes, and breathe in rhythm. Gradually, he realized that his body no longer triggered the same chemical responses as before. His vibrational field changed because he learned to interrupt the pattern the moment it arose. And Maria, from Chicago, practiced mindful breathing before dealing with her finances. Instead of opening bills in a panic, she took a few deep breaths. This simple act kept her mind from being overwhelmed by fear. This way, she could make financial decisions more clearly, without being overwhelmed by the emotional replay of scarcity. Now, here is the clear instruction for you. 1. Sit in a quiet place, with your spine straight. 2. Inhale deeply through your nose for a count of 4. 3. Hold your breath for 2 seconds. 4. Exhale slowly through your mouth for a count of 6. 5. Repeat this cycle for 5 minutes. During this process, bring a positive emotion to mind. It could be gratitude, love, or joy. Feel it rise within your chest as you breathe. This combination of breathing and elevated emotion is like a reset for the body and mind. The result isn't just relaxation. It's a vibrational shift. You'll be sending a new signal to the surrounding field, and that signal will be reflected back in your experiences. And here's the thought: if in just 5 minutes you can completely change your internal state, what would happen if you maintained this practice every day? In the next chapter, we'll explore a second practical exercise, focused on creating an abundance ritual that can transform your relationship with health, love, and money. Chapter 9: Daily Ritual of Abundance. Have you ever noticed how easy it is to focus on what's missing? The money that didn't come in, the relationship that didn't work out, the health that isn't yet at its ideal level. This mental habit creates a vibration of scarcity, and scarcity always attracts more scarcity. But there's a simple way to train your mind and body to vibrate in abundance, even before external changes occur. This is the second practical exercise, the daily abundance ritual. Science shows that the brain has something called the reticular activating system, which is responsible for filtering information. It highlights what you frequently focus on. If you're always thinking about problems, the brain looks for more problems. But if you train your attention to notice victories, achievements, and blessings, even small ones, the brain programs itself to see more of these opportunities. It's literally changing the filter of life. Maria, from Chicago, discovered this when she started writing down 3 small victories a day. At first, they were simple things: paying a bill on time, receiving a compliment from a client, preparing a healthy meal. On paper, they seemed like details, but to her mind and her energy, they were seeds of abundance. This exercise changed the way she viewed her finances, even opening up space for bigger opportunities. Sarah, from Austin, also adopted this practice. Every night, she wrote down 3 moments of the day for which she felt gratitude. These could be small gestures, like a pleasant conversation with a colleague or the feeling of energy after a walk. This ritual created a subtle but powerful change. Within a few weeks, she reported feeling lighter and more optimistic. And, not surprisingly, this state began to attract more recognition at work. And Mark, from Denver, used this ritual to break his emotional patterns in relationships. Every day, he wrote down 3 signs of trust he noticed in his partner: a look, a word, a gesture. By reinforcing these signs, he programmed his mind to focus on the positive, not on past fears. This not only strengthened the relationship but also raised his vibrational field. Now, here is the instruction for you. 1. Get a notebook or app on your phone that is used just for this. 2. Every day, write down 3 victories or signs of abundance that you have experienced. 3. They don't have to be big. The important thing is to recognize what already exists. 4. As you write, close your eyes for a few seconds and feel genuine gratitude for what happened. This ritual isn't about pretending or deceiving yourself. It's about training your brain and heart to perceive the good that already exists and, thus, emit a new vibration. The more you feed this energy, the more the universe responds with experiences aligned with abundance. And here's the provocation: if 3 small records a day can change your vibration, imagine what your life will be like in 6 months of practicing this consistently. In the next chapter, we'll talk about the role of trust and why letting go of control is essential for energy to continue flowing in your direction. Chapter 10: The Role of Trust. Have you ever noticed how often we want to control every detail of life? We plan relationships, try to predict financial outcomes, search for formulas for perfect health. But the more we try to control, the more anxious we become. And anxiety, as you already know, lowers our vibration. The secret lies in something simple yet powerful: trust. Trust doesn't mean being passive, it means aligning intentions and then letting go of the burden of needing to know how and when everything will happen. Quantum physics describes the observer effect: what you focus on takes shape. But there's an important caveat. If you focus on something while simultaneously vibrating doubt or fear, you send out contradictory signals. It's like trying to tune into 2 radio stations at once. The result is noise. When you trust, however, you create coherence between intention and emotion. This coherence sends a clear signal to the field, and the universe responds more clearly. Mark, from Denver, learned this when he was building his new relationship. At first, he wanted to control every detail, always looking for signs that he wouldn't be betrayed. This control suffocated the relationship. When he decided to trust, his energy shifted. He stopped vibrating fear and started vibrating presence. The result was surprising: the relationship strengthened, because trust attracts trust. Sarah, from Austin, also needed to practice this principle in her career. Even after aligning her habits and improving her energy, she still felt anxious waiting for recognition. Until she realized she needed to trust the process. Instead of checking in every day to see if anything had changed, she focused on giving her best without being attached to the outcome. Shortly after, the promotion came naturally. Not because she forced it, but because she trusted. And Maria, from Chicago, lived this lesson with money. In the past, she checked her bank account several times a day, always in desperation. This need for control reinforced the vibration of scarcity. When she decided to change, she continued to manage her finances, but without despair. She created the habit of being grateful and letting go of the expectation of when. Confidence opened the door to new income opportunities that she couldn't have planned for alone. Trust isn't about waiting without acting. It's about acting in alignment, but also letting go of the burden of the outcome. When you vibrate with confidence, your body produces substances linked to calm and well-being. This state allows you to perceive opportunities clearly and make better decisions. What seemed impossible begins to unfold before you. And here's the key point: you don't need to have all the answers right now. You just need to align your vibration and trust that the field responds. The universe isn't against you, it mirrors what you hold. And the big question remains, if you truly trust, how can your life change in the coming months? In the next chapter, we'll tie up all the dots, bringing you a clear and practical conclusion so you can apply this knowledge to your daily routine and transform your vibration once and for all. Conclusion: the daily jump in vibration. Raising your vibration isn't some distant spiritual practice reserved for gurus or monks. It's a daily choice. It's deciding, every day, that you will no longer repeat yesterday's patterns. It's aligning thought, emotion, and action in a single direction and, thus, transforming relationships, health, and finances. Sarah didn't change her life just because she breathed better. She chose to start each day with balance. Mark didn't attract a healthy relationship just because he was lucky. He repeatedly chose to vibrate trust, not fear. Maria didn't escape scarcity just because she found an opportunity. She created opportunities because she decided to be grateful for even the smallest things. Neither of them waited for the universe to act first, they acted from within, and the universe responded. Relationships flourish when you vibrate love instead of need. Health improves when you vibrate calm instead of stress. Finances prosper when you vibrate abundance instead of fear. It's not about expecting miracles, it's about becoming the miracle yourself. And now, I want you to prove to yourself that you're committed to this change. Write the word abundance in the comments. This shows not only that you've made it this far, but that you're ready to say to the universe, I choose a new vibration. And remember, only those who act show they're prepared to receive. So, if you're truly determined to transform your life, subscribe to the channel now. Here you'll find tools, stories, and practices to continue expanding your energy and building the life you deserve. You are not alone on this path. We are together, vibrating higher every day.